go.
Ready?
Yep.
All right, impressive opening weekend. 4-1 start, outscore opponent 36-4, 3 shutouts. Just give us an overall comment about the weekend, and then we'll go on to the next week.
Yeah, I think the overall weekend was obviously you want to win them all. You know, you let one slip away, but we'll talk about the positives. And there were some good things. I thought our pitching staff did an outstanding job. You know, they really commanded the zone. I think the biggest thing, and I think we had 30-something innings of work and allowed 4 walks, if I'm looking right. And to me, that's the biggest thing is if we could, you know, anytime you could go in and establish a strike zone, let your defense play behind you, you're going to be effective. And that's what we asked our staff to do. I thought Coach Tate did a really good job making sure our pitchers were prepared. We were able to throw 5 arms this weekend. You know, Concert didn't allow a run and 2 hits. And, you know, Alex came in through a shutout against a really good North Texas team. Settle, same thing, 1 hit shutout. And she had 10 innings of work, only allowed 1 run. Celine was solid with 4 innings. So, and then, you know, we got the freshman Tate some work, and she came in and did her job and didn't allow a base runner, a hit in her inning of work. So, like I said, 30 innings of work, 12 hits and 4 runs. So I thought our pitching staff did a solid job. Offensively, we were able to score some runs. Got started slow in just about every game, but somewhere around the 3rd or 4th, we were able to kind of start getting things going a little bit and putting some pressure on them. And that's the name of it. We have to find ways to put pressure, and then hopefully we can wear you down at the end and get you to make a couple mistakes. And we're able to do so most of the weekend. So like the way our team played, like the way we competed. They showed me what they've showed us all in spring camp is they're going to come out there and compete hard. We were able to throw some different faces out and still have a good depth at all positions. Thought we played really the North Texas team we knew was going to be really good. And man, you know, they won their conference last year, and they came out and pitched well. You know, we were able to scratch some runs late in the game, but that was a hard-fought game. They come back the next day and beat a really good Lafayette team. When we played them yesterday, I thought we had some opportunities to score. I thought we did a good job of putting ourselves in a position to take a lead, and just couldn't get the time of hit. And if you look at that game, that was the difference, was time of hitting. Defensively, we played pretty sound all weekend.
Now, coming up Thursday, Texas A&M, and then this weekend you go to Conroe for the Scrapyard tournament. Just have you looked at Texas A&M yet, or just what do you think about this coming weekend? Obviously, going to be very challenging.
Yeah, you know, and that's what this time of year does for you. You know, it stresses you mentally, physically. You have to, you know, there's a lot of games. You know, 5 games in 3 days, and then we'll come back and we'll play another 5 games in a short turnaround. Texas A&M is Texas A&M. They're going to be well coached. Their staff does a great job of preparing them to play. They're always going to be competitive. They're fundamentally sound, so you expect to play that. You can play in a hostile environment there. It's one of the best facilities to play at in the country, so we're excited about that opportunity. We'll travel after that weekend. You know, we'll play them on Thursday night. Friday will be a travel day. We'll come out to Conroe where we'll play 4 games, and you know, I think we start off with South Dakota State that won 37 games last year, so they're going to be a solid team. The biggest thing is you'll come in there and you play UAB twice. UAB's Jimmy and his staff with Joe have done a tremendous job turning their program around. If you look at the way they're playing right now, I think they went 4-1 on the weekend. They had an extra inning loss to number 1 Washington, extra inning. So I think it's a 7-8 game. So that's going to be, we'll be challenged throughout, and then, you know, we'll finish up at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and, you know, and have a new coach there, and she's turning that program around, so they're going to be well coached, and I think they'll build off of that opening weekend. So looking forward to the challenges it brings us, seeing how we respond. That's the biggest thing I want to see. How I believe our team's going to respond very well to the loss, but that's what I want to see is how much have we grown from last year, to be honest with you.
With that in mind, how much different are you from last year? Is this a bounce back year, or you don't like to use rebuilding, but you're looking to bounce back this year?
Yeah, you know, and what I hope for is that we've learned from a lot of stuff we did last year. With, you know, some of the younger players that are in the lineup right now, it's been a growing process for them, and just find a way, like, you know, we talk about playing 25 one-run games last year. Did we learn something from those tough losses that's going to enable us to be able to scratch runs late? And we've seen signs of it, of what they have done with the leadership role of this team and their work ethic, and what the way they're preparing for games has been totally different. And I don't think it's anything bad besides just, hey, we want to be a little bit better. I think the hunger's there. I think there's a ton of desire on this team and want to. So I definitely like where this team's heading. I think it's a team that had a lot of depth as well.
When you look back, I don't know if you watched film of the games from this weekend, but if you did, have you seen anything that would lead you to make any changes in the lineup going into this weekend?
Yeah, I think the lineup is going to stay like it's been, in all 4 years of my being a head coach here. It's going to change constantly until we kind of figure something out down the stretch. Building some depth. There's some kids there's some players that have had had a really good camp that I think deserve an opportunity to get out there and compete and get some game experience. And as part of us building depth for the future, or if someone gets hurt, this weekend we had a freshman step up and play shortstop at the last minute. And a good thing she got enough reps in the fall to make sure if those things happen, we don't fall off. So that's what I like about this team, and they understand it's a team effort, and they want to see their teammates get opportunities to compete as well.
You lost a few key leaders over the past couple of years. Who's really stepped up for you this year?
That's a great, it's hard for me to single out anyone because there's a group of them that have done an excellent job. And this is, I think, my 8th season at McNeese, and our senior class, what they have done collectively is so impressive. And it's hard to get across just in an interview or a press conference, but what they have done, investing into their teammates and really took control of that locker room. And what they've done, I think was really impressive, is they evaluated last 4-year teams and said, hey, how can we make this the best season possible? And how can the culture be good? How can the work, how can we teach the younger people how to lead? And what the cool thing is when you talk to the freshmen, they said from day one, when we stepped on, the senior class made us feel like we were part of the team. Not that we had to earn the right to be a part of the team, that we are a part of the team from the day. And I thought that's great. So when you talk about leadership, I think it's the whole group.
You mentioned shortstop. I guess, is Corey going to be all right for this weekend? And also, I know she's known, she goes very, she's like 100% all the time, whether it's practice or everything. How do you kind of maintain a balance of her kind of always being competitive and going hard, but also realizing that, sometimes you kind of have to scale back and get a little rest?
Yeah, I don't know if we could do that with Corey, I'll be honest with you, man. She plays hard, and that's the strength of her game. And it's kind of one of those things where you want to pull the reins back a little bit on her, but you also want to take her out what makes her so good, and why she leads our team. I think the biggest thing we got to do is make sure before she gets on the field that she's healthy, because she's not going to tone it down. We know she's not. That's not in her DNA, and she's going to play hard all the time. So we have to do a good job as a staff making sure that she's 100% when she needs to be. And that's going to be our number one question going into the weekend, is making sure that she's ready to go and looking at the long term, not just to win a series this weekend and win some games, but to make sure she's going to be ready to play and compete in conference.
I'm looking at the stats in the box scores, and it seems like, you scored 36 runs with only 7 extra base hits. So is this a team that you think will be more pick you apart, like slow, death by a million cuts, and not a power team, or how do you view it so far?
It's hard to tell. What I do like about the team is I think we could score in a lot of different ways. I do think there's some power in that lineup that we're going to be able to have hit. I think we could really run. And, what we preach is can we stress you 1 through 9? And if it's having to bunt, if it's having to steal, if it's having to hit extra base hits, because we can stretch doubles if we need to, that they're going to be there. So I think that's what I like about it, is we're not one-dimensional. There's a lot of different ways we can manufacture runs, and that was kind of our emphasis this offseason, is not to get stuck in a situation where you're facing somebody really good that day. You have to manufacture a run, and I think that's what we'll be able to do. And, Corey comes in a game, the North Texas game, we were bases loaded squeeze right there off the, and we needed it. She was pitching well. We didn't have anything to show for it. We get some people on, we're able to put a little bit of pressure, and then after that, the kind of game gets going, and then the bats get going. So I think we have a lot of different ways to get things started at least.
Speaking of powerhouse, I was finding this is a super neat home runs this weekend after all of her injury last year.
So happy for that kid. When you go down with an ACL injury, and how devastating it is to that athlete, and have to sit out, miss all, majority of the season last year, be able to come back this year and right off the bat kind of get going. You know how hard the kids work, and you appreciate it, and you always want them to do good. It doesn't coming off that much delay. She didn't really get the reps in the fall, so you kind of expect her to be rusty. But man, two home runs, made a really good play in the outfield. You're just happy for her. The game doesn't always reward you that way, so just happy that she's able to see the fruit of all of her hard work.
Good.
Yeah. Thanks, Coach.
Coach.